Tonight I want you to begin with a simple declaration. Say within yourself, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. I am a multimillionaire from today. This is not a boast. It is not wishful thinking. It is the assumption of a state. The world will tell you to wait, to struggle, to prove yourself. But I stand here to remind you consciousness is the only reality. What you assume as true, though denied by the evidence of the senses, if persisted in, will harden into fact. So tonight let us enter that state deliberately. Let us claim it boldly. Let us live from it faithfully. For if you believe me and you test me, you will prove the law for yourself. One is the power of I am. When you came here tonight, you may have thought you were seeking knowledge, perhaps a technique, perhaps a formula. But I tell you, all the formulas of the world rest upon two words. And those two words are the mightiest words you will ever speak. They are I am. You can forget everything else, but never forget this. These two words are the name of the Eternal One dwelling in you. They are the creative center from which every experience of your life flows. If you understand what I mean, you will never again misuse this holy name. For the moment you say I am, you are planting a seed in the infinite field of reality. Whatever you join to I am, whether knowingly or unknowingly, will sprout, take root, and manifest itself in your world. Now hear me carefully. Man has been trained to misuse this power. He rises in the morning and declares, I am tired. He looks at his bank account and says, I am broke. He meets with disappointment and says, I am unlucky. And then he wonders why life echoes back to him only fatigue, poverty, and misfortune. Do not be deceived. The outer world is nothing but the shadow cast by the inner use of I am. When Moses asked, who shall I say sent me? The answer came, I am that I am. That is God's eternal name. That is the name you bear in your own being. Every time you say I am, you are declaring the presence of God in you, and whatever follows must come to pass. If you join it to limitation, you bind God to limitation. If you join it to freedom, to wealth, to joy, you call upon the infinite resources of creation to make it so. So I ask you tonight, how do you use this sacred name? Do you use it to belittle yourself, to chain yourself to the evidence of the senses, to repeat the verdict of the world? Or do you use it to rise above appearances, to claim boldly what the world denies, to call things which are not seen as though they were? Understand this law. I am is never followed in vain. Speak it with faith, and the world obeys. Speak it with doubt, and the world still obeys. But in the image of your doubt, there is no escape from it, for it is the name of your true being. Let me give you an illustration. Imagine a man who continually says, I am. He may not even speak it aloud, but in his heart he affirms it every day. He sees a fine house and says within himself, that is not for me, I am poor. He sees an opportunity and dismisses it. I cannot afford that. I am poor. Every thought, every feeling, every act is colored by the hidden decree of I am poor. And soon, without knowing why, the world confirms his assumption. Doors close, circumstances arrange themselves. Poverty becomes his lot, because poverty was the cloak he dressed his I am in. Now take another man. He may not yet possess wealth, but he dares to say, I am rich. He dares to feel it, to walk in it, to claim it as his natural state. The world may mock him, the evidence may contradict him, but he persists. Morning and night he anchors his being in I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am secure, and though it may not come overnight, soon the outer world bends itself to his decree. Circumstances shift, opportunities appear, men call him lucky, but he knows it is not luck, it is luck. So tonight I tell you, you must guard these two words as the holiest possession you have. They are the key to every change you seek. You want health? Then never again declare I am sick. You want freedom? Then never again declare I am bound. You want wealth? Then never again declare I am poor. Instead, assume boldly, I am strong, I am free, I am wealthy. And do not say, but I am lying if I say that now. I tell you, you are lying when you declare the opposite. For the only reality is consciousness. What you are conscious of being, that you are. The senses show you the shadow, not the substance. The shadow may say you are small, limited, bound, but the substance, which is your I am, is infinite. And if you dare to claim it, the shadow must obey. Let me remind you, Imagination is the great secret. When you say I am, clothed with feeling, do not merely speak the word, enter the state. If you declare I am a multimillionaire, then ask yourself, how does it feel to be such? What sense of ease, of freedom, of joy rises within you? Take that feeling as your own. Let it saturate your being. That feeling is prayer. That feeling is the creative act. Now some of you may ask, but how can I say I am wealthy when my pocket is empty? And I say, the same way a seed declares, I am a tree, while buried in the soil. The seed does not look at its smallness and despair. It assumes the state of the tree, and by law it must unfold. You are the seed of God. When you declare I am wealthy, you plant the seed. If you persist, it must break forth into visible form. Do not confuse the delay with denial. Many plant the seed and then uproot it by doubt. They declare I am wealthy, but after a week, they say, where is it? I see nothing. And so they return to their old declaration. I am poor. And the law, impartial and perfect, brings forth poverty again. But if you will remain faithful, if you will refuse to abandon the seed, it must grow. It must bear fruit, for that is the law of life. Let me also warn you, I am works not only for good but for ill. If you misuse it, it will bind you. If you say, I am afraid, fear will become your master. If you say, I am unlucky, misfortune will chase you. The law does not discriminate. It will produce in exact accordance with your assumption. So choose wisely. Guard your words. Above all, guard your inner speech. For it clothes your I am in garments the world must wear. When you rise in the morning, begin at once with the right use of this power. Do not say, I am dreading the day. Say, I am filled with joy. I am walking into abundance. I am blessed in all I do. When you lie down at night, do not say, I am exhausted. Say, I am grateful. I am fulfilled. I am resting in wealth and security. Your last words at night and your first words in the morning are the seeds that shape your world. So I say again, I am is the beginning and the end. It is Alpha and Omega. Whatever you join it to becomes your destiny. Tonight, if you take nothing else from this lecture, take this. Never again misuse the name of God in you. Never again belittle yourself with words of lack, fear, or limitation. Instead, claim your inheritance. Say boldly, I am a multi-millionaire from today. Say it until it feels natural. Say it until you no longer question it. And the world will echo your decree. For you are not here to beg, not here to wait, not here to suffer. You are here to create, and creation begins with I.
Tomot, the present assumption. When I tell you to assume the state of wealth, I do not mean tomorrow, nor do I mean someday in the distant future. I mean now, for the only time is now. You cannot be rich tomorrow. You cannot be happy next week. You cannot be fulfilled next year. You are only ever what you are now. So tonight, I want you to hear me well. The present assumption is the only creative act. To say, I will be, is to confess, I am not, and that confession binds you to lack. The world waits forever for those who wait for tomorrow, but he who dares to assume the wish fulfilled this moment, though the evidence denies it, that one begins the transformation of life. When I speak of assumption, I speak of occupancy. You are to occupy the state just as you would walk into a room and sit down in a chair. You are to enter into the state of the wish fulfilled and rest there. You do not glance at it from a distance. You do not admire it as a dream. You do not speak of it as something that may one day know. You move into it, you sit in it, you live from it as though it were the only reality. Now many people make the mistake of thinking about their desire, instead of thinking from their desire. To think about wealth is to acknowledge it as something outside of you, apart from you, unreachable. To think from wealth is to stand within the feeling of already possessing it. It is the difference between looking at the promised land from afar and walking upon its soil with your own feet. When you say, I am a multimillionaire from today, you must not let that declaration remain words only. You must clothe it in the present assumption. How does a multimillionaire walk? How does he speak? How does he feel when he lies down at night and rises in the morning? Take that posture, assume that tone. Enter into the mood and let it saturate you until you no longer question whether it is true. You know it is true because you feel it as natural. I tell you, the world is not moved by your effort, nor by your struggle, nor by your anxious plan. The world is moved by the assumption you occupy.
For the assumption is already the fact in the unseen. If you persist in that assumption, the unseen becomes the seen, and no power in the world can stop it. Do not wait for circumstances to give you permission to assume. Circumstances are the shadows cast by assumption. If you wait for the shadow to change, you wait in vain. Change the assumption and the shadow must follow. This is why I urge you not to look at your bank account, not to measure your life by the evidence of the sense, for the senses only report the past. They cannot reveal the creative act of the present. Suppose a man is sick, lying in bed. If he says, "One day I will be well," he has already confessed, "I am sick now," and sickness is perpetuated. But if, in the midst of weakness, he dares to assume, "I am strong, I am whole, I am well now," and feels the reality of that assumption, then he is planting the seed of health. Persisted in, it must bloom. So it is with wealth. If you say, "One day I will be rich," you postpone it forever, for tomorrow never comes. But if tonight, in the midst of lack, you say, "I am wealthy now," and you clothe that word with feeling, then you have assumed the state. And though the evidence may not shift in an instant, it must bend. The whole of creation must rearrange itself to mirror the state you now occupy. Let me remind you, assumption is not pretending. Pretending is saying what you do not believe. Assumption is claiming what you choose to be true, until it becomes true. It is faith in action. It is loyalty to the unseen reality. The difference is subtle, but it is everything. Pretending wears a mask and knows. Assumption puts on the garment of the desired state and forgets it was ever without it. Now some of you may struggle because the senses will shout against you. You will say, "But look at my debts, look at my surroundings, look at the facts." And I tell you, those are not facts. They are shadows. The only fact is consciousness. The only reality is what you are conscious of being. If you are conscious of being wealthy, even in the midst of lack, then wealth is the fact, and soon the shadow will obey. Let me take you deeper. When you assume, you shift timeline. You step into a new dimension, where the desire is already fulfilled. The old reality fades, the new reality emerges. But you cannot step halfway. You cannot say, "I am wealthy" one moment and "I am broke" the next, and expect the law to yield. The law is exact. It clothes you in the garment you wear most faithfully. This is why persistence is essential. To assume for a night and abandon in the morning is to uproot the seed before it grows. But to assume day after day, morning and night, until it feels natural, until it feels inevitable, that is to water the seed until it bears fruit. So tonight I ask you to test yourself. Can you assume now? Can you leave this hall with the present conviction that you are what you desire to be? Can you walk in the mood of wealth, though your senses deny it? Can you let go of tomorrow and claim today? If you can, then you are already transformed. For once the assumption is made, the work is finished. All that remains is the outpicturing of the state. Hear these words. Assumption is creation. Assumption is prayer. Assumption is the act of God in man. There is nothing else, and the present assumption is the only doorway. The future does not exist. The past does not exist. You are only ever what you assume yourself to be now. When you lie down tonight, do not think of the day you had, or the troubles that wait. Assume the end. Feel the wish fulfilled. Let your last thought be, "I am wealthy. I am free. I am secure." Drift into sleep clothed in the present assumption. For the state you occupy in sleep is the state you carry into waking. And when you rise in the morning, do not look for evidence. Do not ask, "Has it happened yet?" That question betrays doubt. Instead, rise in confidence. Rise in the joy of the already accomplished. Say, "This is the day the Lord has made, and I am what I have declared." And then go about your day as though it were impossible to fail. For truly it is impossible to fail when you remain loyal to the present assumption. The world may shake. Circumstances may tremble. Men may mock. But the law cannot be broken. What you assume now, you will experience. So tonight, do not wait. Do not postpone. Do not say, "I hope, I wish, I will." Say only, "I am." For to assume now is to create now. And creation is always now.
3. Feeling is the secret. When I tell you to assume the wish fulfilled, you may nod in agreement, you may repeat the words, you may declare boldly, "I am wealthy," but unless you feel it, nothing will change. For the secret is not in words alone, nor in the intellect, nor in reason. The secret is feeling. Feeling is the one bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the state imagined and the state experienced. Let me repeat it until it enters your heart. Feeling is the secret. It is not what you say. It is not what you think. It is not even what you hope. It is what you feel as real that becomes your world.
You may memorize every truth I speak, but if you do not feel its reality, it remains lifeless. You may affirm 1,000 times, I am rich, but if you still feel poor, if you still feel lack, then poverty remains your portion. Words without feeling are empty shells, but one word, clothed in deep feeling, is more powerful than 1,000 cold affirmations. Now, what is feeling? Feeling is not emotion in the shallow sense. It is not a fleeting excitement, nor a passing mood. Feeling is the deep conviction of the heart, the silent knowing that this thing is so. It is the state you enter when imagination and belief unite. It is the inner assurance that requires no proof, for it is its own proof. When you feel yourself to be wealthy, you no longer seek confirmation. You know it, because you feel it. You walk differently. You speak differently. You expect differently. The world senses the shift, though it cannot explain it. And soon the outer must echo the inner. For the outer is nothing but the crystallization of inner feeling. Consider this. Every event you have ever experienced began with a feeling. Before you met the person, before you received the news, before the event unfolded, there was already a mood, a vibration within you that matched it. You may not have recognized it, but it was there. For life does not happen to you, life happens through you. And feeling is the channel. Now here is the great challenge. Man has been trained to feel according to appearances. If the pocket is empty, he feels poor. If the room is silent, he feels lonely. If the door is closed, he feels rejected. But I tell you, the law demands the opposite. You must feel beyond appearances. You must feel wealth when the pocket is empty. You must feel companionship when the room is silent. You must feel welcomed when the door is closed. For the feeling you sustain becomes the fact, and the fact rearranges the appearances. So tonight I urge you to practice the art of feeling deliberately. Sit quietly, close your eyes, withdraw from the senses. Do not look at what is, for what is. Instead, imagine what could be as though it were. Imagine yourself in the state of the wish fulfilled. Then ask yourself, how would I feel if this were true? And when the answer rises, hold it, rest in it. Saturate yourself with that feeling until it becomes natural. That is creation. For prayer is not begging, nor is it pleading with some distant God. Prayer is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you rise from prayer, if you still feel lacking, you have prayed in vain. But if you rise from prayer feeling satisfied, feeling it is done, then your prayer is answered. For the law is unfailing. Feeling of the wish fulfilled is the state that produces the fact. Now many of you will try to imagine without feeling. You will see the picture in your mind, but you will remain detached, cold, uncertain. That is daydreaming. Daydreams rarely manifest because they lack the heat of conviction. But when imagination is clothed with feeling, it becomes the creative act. The picture comes alive. It stirs your whole being. It no longer feels like a distant dream, but like a present reality. And when you hold that union, the world must bow to it. Let me illustrate. A man once came to me and said, I affirm every day I am successful, I am rich, I am free, but nothing changes. I asked him, when you affirm, how do you feel? He said, I feel like I am lying. There was his answer. His words said one thing, his feeling another, and the law always follows feeling. I told him, forget the words for now. Instead, go within and imagine one simple scene that implies success. See yourself shaking hands with a friend who congratulates you. Hear him say, well done, and then feel the joy of that moment as if it were happening now. He did this faithfully, and within months his entire business turned around. Why? Because he learned the secret feeling. So it will be with you. If you want wealth, do not say only, I am wealthy. Feel the ease of paying every bill with abundance left over. Feel the joy of giving freely, of blessing others, of living without worry. Feel the freedom of walking into any store, choosing what you desire and paying without concern. Let that feeling take root, and soon the facts must align. If you want love, do not merely say, I am loved. Feel the warmth of companionship. Feel the hand in yours, the laughter shared, the joy of belonging. Let the feeling be so real that when you open your eyes, the absence startles you. That is the level of intensity required. Remember, you cannot be lukewarm. You cannot feel half-hearted. The law responds to the dominant feeling, the conviction that outweighs all others. If you feel wealth for a moment and poverty the rest of the day, poverty prevails. But if you return again and again to the feeling of wealth until it saturates your being, then wealth prevails.
Do not wait for proof to feel. Feel first and proof will come. This is the reversal man struggles to grasp. He says, when I see it, I will feel it. But the law says, when you feel it, you will see it. Sight follows feeling. Facts follow conviction. The world is the echo of the song you sing within. So I ask you tonight, what are you feeling? Not what are you saying? Not what are you thinking? But what are you feeling in the depths of your being? For that is the seed. That is the decree. That is the creative word made flesh. Begin tonight to take charge of your feelings. Do not let them drift according to appearances. Command them. Shape them. Choose deliberately the feeling you wish to occupy. And then persist. Even when the outer world contradicts you. For persistence in feeling will outlast appearances. And appearances must yield. I tell you, this is the great secret of life. This is the key to all manifestation. You may change beliefs. You may change thoughts, you may change words, but unless you change the feeling, nothing changes. Yet the moment you change the feeling, everything changes. So tonight as you leave here, take this truth with you. Feeling is the secret. Guard it, practice it, live by it, and you will discover that nothing is impossible to him who feels himself to be already what he desires to be.
Thought. The world is a mirror. The world you behold with your eyes, the circumstances you encounter, the people you meet, the opportunities you attract or repel. These are not independent of you. They are not strangers governing your fate. They are mirrors. The world is a mirror, forever reflecting back to you the state you occupy within yourself. You may argue with me. You may say, but look at the injustice, look at the lack, look at the hardships. Surely I did not choose this. And I tell you, perhaps not consciously, but unconsciously you did. For your world is nothing more than the outpicturing of your inner speech, your assumptions, your sustained feelings. Every event of your life, whether praised or condemned, was drawn to you by the state you maintained within. This is why I say, do not fight with shadows. A man who quarrels with the mirror only makes a fool of himself. If the face reflected displeases him, he does not strike the glass. He changes his own expression, and the mirror changes instantly. So it is with life. If you dislike what you see, do not battle the external world. Do not curse men, nor systems, nor fate. Look within. Change your assumption. Clothe yourself in a new state. Persist, and the mirror must reflect it. Take this principle deeply to heart. The outer world is powerless in itself. It has no life of its own. It moves only as your consciousness moves. To treat it as cause is to live in bondage. To recognize it as effect is to live in freedom. Let me illustrate. Suppose a man feels himself overlooked, unappreciated, unnoticed. That feeling sustained within will project itself outward. He will encounter neglect at work, indifference from friends, lack of recognition in every sphere. He may complain, they do not value me, but the truth is, he does not value himself. The world is his mirror, faithfully reflecting the low estimate he has placed upon his own being. But let the same man, in the silence of imagination, assume a new state. Let him feel, I am important, I am worthy, I am appreciated, I am valued. Let him persist in that inner conviction, though no evidence appears. Soon the mirror shifts. Suddenly others notice him. Opportunities find him. Recognition flows to him without effort. Why? Because he changed the image within, and the mirror had no choice but to comply. So I say to you, whatever you believe about yourself, the world will confirm. If you believe you are fortunate, life will shower you with blessings. If you believe you are cursed, misfortune will dog your steps. The law is exact and impartial. The mirror does not argue, it reflects. Now many of you are trapped because you believe the outer first. You look at the mirror of life and judge yourself by what you see there. You say, because my bank account is small, I am poor. Because no one calls me, I am unloved. Because no door has opened, I am unlucky. You reverse the order. You give power to the shadow instead of the light, and thus the shadow holds you bound. But I tell you, reverse it once more. Declare, I am wealthy though the account is empty. Declare, I am loved though the room is silent. Declare, I am successful though the door is closed. Clothe yourself in the inner conviction and persist. The mirror must change, for the mirror cannot hold an image the subject does not supply. When you truly grasp this, you cease to blame, you cease to resent, you cease to complain, for you know that every man in your world is yourself pushed out. He plays the part you have assigned him,
by your assumption. If he offends you, ask, what in me called this forth? If he blesses you, ask, what in me received this gift? In both cases the answer lies within. This is not to burden you with guilt, but to free you with responsibility. If the cause is within, the power is within. If the world is your mirror, then you can change the reflection by changing yourself. No man is your master. No system can bind you. No fate can imprison you. You alone decide what image to project, and life echoes it faithfully. I once knew a woman who constantly declared, men are unfaithful. She said it often, she felt it deeply. She believed it without question. And what did life reflect? Every man she drew into her life proved her right. Betrayal followed betrayal, until she despaired. But I told her, change the assumption. Declare instead, I am cherished, I am honored, I am loved with faithfulness. Feel it as true. She struggled at first, for the old mirror seemed so solid. But at last, she persisted, and in time she met a man who adored her, who remained true, who proved to her that the law is exact. Life mirrored her new belief. So with you, what are you declaring? What are you assuming? For that is what life mirrors back. You cannot deceive the mirror. You cannot say one thing and feel another. The mirror reflects the dominant feeling, the hidden assumption, the secret belief. Do not fear this truth. Rejoice in it, for it means you hold the power. You can change the mirror at will. You do not need to persuade others, nor beg circumstances, nor wait for chance. You need only change the image within yourself, and the mirror must obey. Now let me tell you something deeper. The mirror is delayed. It does not change instantly, for it reflects not the fleeting thought, but the sustained feeling. A man may declare, I am rich once or twice, but if he returns to poverty in feeling, the mirror reflects poverty. But let him sustain wealth in feeling, day after day, until it becomes natural, and the mirror will shift. Though all the world resists, do not be discouraged by delay. The mirror is faithful. It cannot be deceived. It must reflect the image you hold most faithful. Persist, and the outer must bow. When you know this, you cease to argue with the world. You cease to resist appearances. You treat every difficulty as a shadow, and go straight to the source, yourself. You ask, what am I assuming that produced this? And then you assume anew. That is the path of mastery. So tonight, let us make a new decree. Let us declare boldly, I am a multimillionaire from today, not tomorrow, not one day. Today, let us feel it, saturate ourselves with it, and persist in it. Then let us watch as the world, the faithful mirror, arranges itself to reflect our assumption. Do not waver. Do not complain when the old image lingers. Do not despair when shadows resist. Persist in the new image, and the mirror must conform. It has no choice, for the world is a mirror that reflects your being. Change yourself, and you change your world.
5. The law of reversibility. There is a law, eternal and unchanging, which governs all expression of life. It is the law of reversibility. Understand this law, and you hold in your hands the key to creation. The law states, if a physical effect can be produced by a mental cause, then the mental cause can be produced by the physical effect. Stated simply, if imagining wealth can produce wealth, then experiencing wealth in imagination will inevitably produce its physical counterpart. If joy can make you smile, then smiling can generate joy. If confidence can make you walk tall, then walking tall can awaken confidence. The cause and effect are interchangeable. You must grasp this with clarity, for it reveals the secret of creation. If imagining an act can produce the effect, then imagining the effect must produce the act. This means you need not wait for the world to show you evidence. You need only feel within yourself that the effect has already occurred, and the cause, your external world, must conform. Consider electricity. The law of reversibility applies here. Heat can produce mechanical motion, and mechanical motion can produce heat. So it is with sound and vibration. So it is with cause and effect in consciousness. The law holds universally. Let me illustrate. A man says to me, I will feel secure when I have money. He has reversed the law incorrectly. He waits for the effect to produce the cause. But the law is clear. If money can produce security, then the feeling of security can produce money. Therefore he must assume the feeling of being secure now. That inner security, sustained, will externalize itself as financial abundance. Do you see it? You need not wait for anything to change. You need not wait for the world to move. You need only move within. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And by the law of reversibility, the outer world must bear witness. Now many of you are caught in this trap. You wait for conditions to dictate your feelings. You say, I will rejoice when I succeed. I will be thankful when I receive. I will feel love when I meet the right one. But I tell you, you have reversed the law backward. You are waiting for the shadow to cast the substance. You are waiting for the mirror to change itself. But the law is exact. The inner produces the outer. The feeling produces the fact. If the effect produces the cause, then the cause, assumed in imagination, must produce the effect. So tonight, test this law. Suppose you desire love. Do not say, when someone loves me, I will feel cherished. Say instead, because I feel cherished, someone must appear who loves me. Assume the state of being cherished, honored, adored. Walk in it, sleep in it, breathe in it. And by the law of reversibility, love must externalize itself. This is not fantasy. This is law. This is as certain as gravity, as unbreakable as mathematics. The law of reversibility guarantees that if you sustain the inner feeling, the outer must conform. Think of it this way. If sorrow can bring tears, then tears can bring sorrow. If excitement can quicken the breath, then quickened breath can awaken excitement. If faith can move mountains, then mountains moved in imagination will awaken faith. The circuit is complete. This is why I stress, live in the end. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Do not wait for evidence. Do not beg for signs. Feel it now. Let the sensation of already having it saturate you. And the world, obedient to law, must reshape itself. A friend once told me he longed for a promotion at work. He said, when I am promoted, then I will feel successful. I corrected him. Feel successful now. Walk into the office as the man already promoted. Sit at your desk as the man already chosen. Go to bed at night congratulating yourself for the advancement. He obeyed. And within weeks, though others were more qualified on paper, the promotion was his. Why? Because he invoked the law of reversibility. By assuming the effect in imagination, he compelled the cause in fact. This law is the explanation behind every miracle recorded in Scripture. When Christ said, believe that you have received it, and you shall, he spoke of reversibility. When the blind were told to see, and they did, it was not magic. They assumed sight, felt sight, accepted sight in imagination, and the outer followed. So I ask you tonight, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for health to feel strong? Feel strong now. Are you waiting for wealth to feel secure? Feel secure now. Are you waiting for companionship to feel loved? Feel loved now. By the law of reversibility, your inner assumption will externalize. Now let us go deeper. Many say, but I cannot feel it real. I cannot force myself to feel rich when I am poor, or loved when I am alone. To them I say, persist. Play the game of assumption. Pretend if you must, until the feeling takes root. For imagination, once clothed in feeling, becomes the reality that commands the outer world. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not demand instant transformation. Simply assume the feeling for moments each day. Persist in the inner act. Soon the law, operating without effort, will bring the shadow into line with the substance. I recall a man who came to me deeply in debt. He said, I cannot feel wealthy. My creditors hound me. My account is empty. I told him, can you imagine a single friend congratulating you on your financial freedom? He said, yes, that I can do. So I instructed him, play that scene nightly. Hear the words, I am so glad for you. You are free at last. Feel the joy of it. He obeyed. Within months, unexpected income, forgiveness of debt, and new opportunities freed him entirely. The world rearranged itself to mirror his inner conviction. That is the law of reversibility. If hearing congratulations is the effect of financial freedom, then hearing it in imagination must bring financial freedom. If feeling joy is the result of success, then joy assumed in advance must produce success. The law does not fail. So tonight, ask yourself, what is the effect I desire? Is it wealth, health, love, success? Then assume the feeling that effect would bring. Live in it, walk in it, let it be real within. And by the law of reversibility, the cause must appear. Do not concern yourself with how. Do not dictate the means. The law knows no obstacle. It will rearrange people, events, and circumstances in ways beyond your reason. Your part is only to assume the end and persist. The law will reverse the order and produce it in fact. Remember always, the world is your mirror, but it is a mirror governed by reversibility.
If the outer can produce the inner, then the inner, assumed, must produce the outer. Therefore rejoice. You are free. You are not bound to appearances. You are not chained to fate. You are the master. For you hold the key, the power to assume, to feel, to reverse the order, and compel the shadow to follow. Test this law, and you will find it faithful. Use it, and you will prove it. Live by it, and you will transform your world. For this is truth eternal. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and the world by law must reflect it.
6. Living in the end. To live in the end is the most glorious secret of creation. It is the boldest act you can ever perform, and yet it is the simplest. The world has trained you to think of your desire, to hope for it, to reach toward it. But tonight I say to you, stop thinking of your desire. Begin thinking from it. That is the difference between delay and fulfillment. When you think of wealth, you place it at a distance. You imagine it as something outside yourself, separate to be attained in some tomorrow. But when you think from wealth, you occupy the state of the multimillionaire now. You walk, speak, and move as one who already is. That is living in the end. Scripture declares, calling things which are not as though they were. That is not hope. It is law. To call something as though it were is to live in the end. And the law of consciousness is exact. What you are conscious of being, that you become. Now I tell you, imagination is not play. It is the workshop of God within you. When you assume the end, when you dare to clothe yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you have placed yourself in the only creative act there is. The world in obedience will conform. Let me explain. Suppose you desire financial freedom. The world will teach you to plan, to scheme, to work harder. It says, first acquire, then feel free. But I say to you, invert the order. First feel free, then you will acquire. Walk as though money were no obstacle. Sleep as though accounts were overflowing. Give thanks as though the fortune were already secured. That is living in the end. When you live in the end, you stop begging. You stop waiting. You stop treating desire as a stranger. Instead, you embrace it as already yours. You live in the assurance that what you have assumed is already a fact in the unseen. And because consciousness is the only reality, it must become a fact in the seen. Do not confuse this with daydreaming. A daydream is thinking of something without conviction. Living in the end is identification. It is possession. It is claiming the state as your own. I knew a man once who longed for a home. For years he saved, searched, and worried, yet no door opened. When I met him, I asked, do you sleep each night in the house you desire? He laughed, thinking I spoke of fantasy. But I told him, go to sleep in your imagination, in the home you long for. Walk through its rooms before bed. Feel the walls. Sit in the chair. Hear the creak of the floorboards. Live there nightly. He obeyed. Within a year, a series of events unfolded. An inheritance, a property sale, and a sudden opportunity that gave him that very home. Why? Because he no longer thought of the home, he thought from it. He lived in the end, and the end expressed itself. So I say to you tonight, what is your end? Do not ask how it will come. Do not trouble yourself with the steps. Assume the end. Live there. Feel there. Remain there. And the bridge of incidents will carry you from where you are to where you have assumed. The bridge is always built, but it is not yours to design. You need not know the path. You need only dwell in the destination. Life itself, in ways you could never devise, will rearrange to match your state. Do you recall the story of Joseph in Scripture? He dreamed a dream of greatness, of ruling, of being exalted. Though cast into a pit, though sold into slavery, though imprisoned unjustly, he never abandoned the end. He lived from the dream, and every seeming setback was but a stepping stone to its fulfillment. That is living in the end. So tonight, dare to test this law. Suppose you desire success in your business. Do not pray to succeed someday. Instead, tonight, close your eyes and hear a friend say to you, congratulations on your success. I knew you would make it. Feel the warmth of his handshake. Hear the tone of his voice. Accept the reality of that moment. That scene implies the end is reached. Dwell in it until it feels natural. Then drop it. confident that life has heard you. And when tomorrow comes, do not undo your work. Do not look at your present circumstances and say, it has not happened yet. To do so is to return to thinking of the desire. Instead, walk tomorrow as the one who already received. Live in the end, and soon the outer must catch up. This is the secret of answered prayer. Prayer is not pleading with a distant God. Prayer is assuming the end and living from it. When you say, thank you, Father, you are not hoping, you are acknowledging it is done. Thanksgiving is the recognition of fulfillment. Do not wait for the world to approve. The world will always lag behind your assumption. It must, for it is only the echo. The substance is with it. The shadow will follow. Now many will say, but is it not deceit to act as though I am what I am not? I tell you, it is the only truth. For what you are conscious of being, that you truly are. What you call reality is but the past made visible. To live in the end is not to deceive. It is to awaken to the truth that imagination is reality, and the outer world is its delayed reflection. So tonight you are invited to live boldly. You are invited to cast off the garment of lack, of failure, of weight. Put on the garment of wealth, of love, of success. Wear it in your mind until it fits you perfectly. That is living in the end. You may say, but what if I fail? What if nothing happens? I answer you, you cannot fail if you persist. The only failure is to abandon the state. Persist in the end, and the end must unfold. Imagine the joy of waking tomorrow already free. Imagine the calm of knowing your needs are already met. Imagine the thrill of being congratulated. Do not push it into the future. Live it now, and as you live it within, life will bring it without. So remember, to live in the end is the only way, not to strive toward it, not to long for it, not to wish for it, but to occupy it, dwell in it, rest in it. And let me assure you, the moment you assume the end, creation is finished. The unseen has already accepted your claim. The bridge of incidents is set in motion. You may not see it yet, but you will walk across it. Each step will appear at the right time. Each person, each opportunity, each circumstance will fall into place. And at last, you will stand in the very end you once assumed. Then you will know, imagination creates reality. Living in the end is the key. So tonight, claim it. Say within yourself, I am already there. I am already free. Walk in that assurance. Live in the end, and the end will live in you. 7. Persistence against evidence. The great secret of creation is persistence. To assume a state once is not enough. To feel it briefly and then abandon it will not yield results. You must persist. Persist against the evidence of your senses. Persist against the testimony of the world. Persist until the assumption feels more real than the facts before you. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. That is what persistence truly is. It is not blind hope. It is not waiting for luck. It is loyalty to the unseen. And I tell you tonight, if you are not loyal to the unseen reality, you will forever be a slave to appearances. Your senses will scream at you, it is not here. Your bank account will whisper, you are poor. Your body may ache and say, you are sick. Your environment may mock you with reminders of failure. And yet if you have dared to assume the end, you must learn to shut your ears to those voices. You must learn to be loyal to what is unseen, to what is already yours in imagination. That is persistence against evidence. The truth is this: facts are shadows. They are not final. What you see in the world is the result of past assumptions. It is yesterday's consciousness made visible. To live by facts is to live by corpses. You must learn to live by vision, not by sight. I recall a woman who longed for reconciliation with her husband. He had left her, and all the evidence said it was final. The world told her, it is over. He has moved on. You must accept it. But she came to me and I asked her, can you assume that you are once again cherished? Can you feel his arm around you? Can you hear him say, I love you? She said yes, and I told her, then persist. Do not waver when the phone does not ring. Do not abandon your assumption when the world tells you no. Be loyal to the unseen union. She persisted. For months she held fast to the feeling of being loved and cherished, though everything outward contradicted it. And then one day, he called. One day the door opened. The marriage was restored. Why? Because she persisted against evidence. This is the key. You must not let the facts dictate your state. You must let your state dictate the facts. If you assume wealth, but then open your wallet and say, but I have nothing, you have betrayed the assumption. If you assume health, but then bow to the symptoms, you have betrayed the assumption. If you assume success, but then yield to rejection, you have betrayed the assumption. But if you persist, if you say, though the world denies it, I remain loyal to the unseen reality, then you will prove the law. For the unseen held faithfully must become seen. Think of Noah in scripture. He built an ark when there was no rain. The world mocked him, laughed at him, said he was mad. Yet he persisted in the unseen. And when the rains came, his persistence was vindicated. That is not history, that is a parable of your life. Build your ark in imagination. Persist though the sky is clear. Persist though the world mocks, and the flood of fulfillment will come. Do not confuse persistence with effort. It is not straining. It is not constant repetition. It is loyalty. It is the quiet, steady refusal to abandon your assumption. When doubt arises, return to the end. When fear whispers, return to the end. When delay tempts you, return to the end. That is persistence. Let me give you another example. A man desired to leave his job and start his own business. He told me, Neville, every fact is against me. I have no money. I have no partner. I have no support. I said, what do you have? He answered, only my dream. I told him, that is all you need. Assume the end. Live in it. Persist. He began to imagine nightly that he was already in his office, already shaking hands with clients, already giving orders. He persisted in that assumption, though every fact screamed the opposite. And slowly, the bridge of incidents began to unfold. A friend appeared who believed in him. An investor came. A partner joined. Within a year, the business was real. Why? Because he refused to bow to evidence. He remained loyal to the unseen. That is faith. Scripture says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Do you hear? Faith itself is evidence. Faith itself is substance. The unseen persisted in is more real than what your eyes behold. So tonight I say to you, what are you persisting in? Are you persisting in lack, in fear, in failure, or are you persisting in the vision of your fulfilled desire? For persist you must. The question is only, what do you persist in? Every man lives by persistence. Most persist unconsciously in states they do not wish to have. They dwell on worry, rehearse failure, imagine rejection. They persist in those states and then wonder why life repeats itself. But you are called to persist consciously in the state you desire. That is the difference between bondage and freedom. Let us be practical. Tonight before you sleep, assume the end of your desire. Hear what you would hear, feel what you would feel, see what you would see. And then tomorrow, when the facts contradict you, do not abandon it. Return to it. Say, no, I know who I am. I know what I've assumed. The world is catching up to me. That is persistence. And let me assure you, if you will persist, the world cannot resist. For the world is nothing but your assumption pushed out. If you change not, the world cannot change. But if you remain loyal to your new state, the world must yield. Now some of you will be tested. You will assume wealth, and perhaps tomorrow a bill will come. You will assume health, and perhaps tomorrow the pain will worsen. You will assume love, and perhaps tomorrow the silence will deepen. Do not be deceived. That is the test of loyalty. That is the trial of persistence. The old state dies hard, but die it must. Do not resurrect it with your fear. Hold fast to the new and the old will fade. This is why I say, you are not called to fight circumstances. You are not called to battle the world. You are called to persist in your assumption, and the world will rearrange. Imagine a sculptor shaping marble. He does not strike once and walk away. He persists, blow after blow. He remains loyal to the image within. At last the form appears. So it is with you. Persist in the unseen image of your fulfilled desire, and the outer world will yield. Therefore do not grow weary. Do not despair when results seem delayed. Time is not delay. It is the interval required for assumption to harden into fact. Persist, and in due season you will reap. So tonight I urge you, choose your state wisely, and then be faithful. Be loyal. Persist against every fact, every whisper of doubt, every mocking voice. Say to yourself,
Though the world denies it, I know it is done. Though my senses contradict, I remain loyal to the unseen, and you will discover the great truth. Persistence is victory, for what you persist in imagining must become your work.
Eighth, the creative imagination. Imagination is not idle fancy. It is not daydreaming or escape. Imagination is the creative power of God in man. Everything you behold, the chair you sit on, the house you live in, the wealth you seek, the love you long for, first existed in imagination. There is nothing in this world that was not first imagined. Man thinks imagination is less real than fact, but I tell you, imagination is the only reality. The world you call fact is but imagination objectified. And if you will dare to grasp this truth, you will discover that your creative imagination is the key to every desire fulfilled. Now I say to you, imagination is not something you turn to only in play. It is the daily workshop of creation. Each time you imagine, you plant a seed. Each seed, if nourished by feeling and persistence, must bear fruit in the world. Look around you. The skyscraper in the city was once only an image in the mind of its architect. The symphony was once a faint melody in the heart of its composer. The empire was once a dream in the mind of its founder. The wealth you long for is now waiting for you in imagination. You must dare to enter and claim it. To imagine creatively is to construct a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire, and then to enter it with feeling. Suppose you desire financial abundance. What scene would imply you are already wealthy? Perhaps it is signing a large check. Perhaps it is gifting freely to a loved one. Perhaps it is hearing a friend say, "You've done so well." Choose the scene and then enter it in imagination as though it were real. Do not watch it as a spectator. Participate. Feel the paper of the check. Hear the voice of your friend. Touch the gift you give. Bring all the senses into play. The more vivid, the more real, the more creative your imagination becomes. Now many of you will say, "But Neville, it is only imagination." To which I answer, it is imagination only until you persist. Then it becomes fact. Do you not realize this entire world was once only imagination? The bridge, the car, the airplane. Once all were dismissed as fantasy, and yet here they stand, undeniable. So too will your desire, if you dare to imagine it real. Let us go deeper. Imagination is spiritual sensation. When you imagine, you are entering another dimension of being. You are calling things not seen as though they were. And because imagination is reality, clothed in spirit, it must in time become reality, clothed in fact. I knew a man who longed for freedom from debt. Each night, instead of worrying, he would imagine himself holding a letter of clearance. He would feel the paper in his hand, read the words "paid in full" and give thanks. He did this faithfully, though nothing in his outer world changed. Then unexpectedly an inheritance came. Debts were cleared. Freedom was his. What produced it? His creative imagination. I tell you, the imagination is the Christ in you. It is the power by which all things are made. By him all things were made, and without him was not anything made that was made. The Christ of Scripture is not a man of history only. It is the power of imagination in you. When you awaken to this truth, you discover the secret of creation. Now how do you use this power? First, you must quiet the mind. Enter a state of relaxation, of stillness, as though drifting to sleep. Then choose a simple scene that implies your desire fulfilled. Enter the scene, not as observer but as participant. Act it out inwardly. Feel its reality. Repeat it until it feels natural. Then let it go, confident it is done. Do not construct elaborate dramas. Keep it simple. If wealth is your aim, imagine the simple thrill of seeing your balance overflowing. If love is your aim, imagine the warmth of a hand in yours. If health is your aim, imagine the ease of movement, the joy of being whole. Simplicity is the key. And remember, feeling is the secret. Words alone will not do. You may say, "I am wealthy," but if you feel poor, you have imagined nothing. You must saturate the scene with feeling until the body responds. When the heart quickens, when the smile comes, when the thrill arises, then you know imagination has been clothed with life. I tell you, the imagination is not bound by time or space. In imagination, you can be where you are, not physically. In imagination, you can be what you are, not yet in fact. And if you persist in living in imagination, the outer world must catch up. This is why I say imagination creates reality. Do not dismiss it. Do not treat it lightly. It is the only power there is. Now let me warn you, imagination works whether you use it consciously or not. Many of you are creating unconsciously. You imagine fear, failure, rejection, lack. You rehearse conversations of defeat. You dwell on pictures of poverty, and then you wonder why life repeats itself. But the law is impartial. What you imagine, you create. The only question is, will you imagine wisely or foolishly? So I urge you tonight, take hold of your creative imagination. Direct it deliberately. Do not let it run wild in fear. Harness it in faith. Use it constructively, lovingly, wisely. Let us take another example. A woman desired companionship. She told me, Neville, I am alone. I long for someone to share life with. I said, can you imagine falling asleep with the feeling of someone beside you? Can you imagine hearing, good night, my love? She said yes. And so she did. Night after night, she went to sleep imagining the warmth of a presence beside her. In time, a man entered her life. They married. The state she imagined became fact. What produced it? The creative imagination. Do you see now? You need not wait. You need not struggle. The power is within you. The workshop of creation is imagination. So tonight I invite you to test it. Take one desire, construct one simple seed, enter it in imagination, feel it real, persist, and you will prove for yourself the law I teach. Imagination creates reality. Remember always, the outer world is but imagination pushed out. It is not the cause. It is the result. The cause is within. Direct it, shape it, live in, and the result must follow. So let me leave you with this truth. Imagination is God's gift to you. It is the creative power by which you shape your destiny. Do not neglect it. Do not misuse it. Use it wisely, lovingly, persistent, and you will discover that every desire is within reach. For imagination makes it real. Dare to imagine and you will dare to create. Dare to create and you will dare to live. 9. Wealth as a state of being. When I speak of wealth, I do not speak first of money. Money is only one expression of wealth. True wealth is a state of consciousness, a way of being, a recognition of sufficiency within. To seek money without entering the state of wealth is to chase shadows. To enter the state of wealth first is to let money and opportunity naturally flow. Wealth is not outside of you. It is not in the bank, nor in the market, nor in the opinions of men. Wealth is a state of being that you assume, and once assumed, the world mirrors it. Many think they will feel wealthy once they possess abundance. But I tell you, you must feel wealthy before abundance appears. Consciousness is the only reality. You cannot escape it. If you live in the consciousness of lack, you may labor endlessly, but your world will reflect lack. If you live in the consciousness of wealth, opportunities arise, doors open, money comes, because the world is yourself pushed out. Let me make it plain. Wealth is not something to get. It is something to be. If you are being wealthy within, you will inevitably have wealth without. The outer is only reflection. Now you may ask, Neville, how do I enter the state of wealth when the facts deny it? When bills press, when pockets are empty, when all appearances scream poverty? I say, appearances are nothing. They are but the shadow of past states. They are the result, not the cause. The cause is within. And if you will dare to persist in assuming the state of wealth, appearances will crumble and new facts will rise. To be wealthy in consciousness is to feel abundance here and now, regardless of circumstances. It is to walk with an inner assurance, a calm knowing that all is provided. It is to give thanks for supply unseen, knowing it is on its way. It is to move through life not with grasping hands but with open heart, knowing you are source, not beggar. Consider the words of Scripture. To him that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. What does this mean? It means the one who possesses the consciousness of having will experience more. The one who dwells in the consciousness of not having will lose even the little he clings to. Do you see? Wealth is not about possessions. It is about the state you occupy. To feel rich is to enter the flow of abundance. To feel poor is to cut yourself off from it. So how do you practice this? You begin by refusing to dwell in lack. Do not rehearse thoughts of I cannot afford. Do not repeat I never have enough. Each time you do, you are impressing the state of poverty upon the subconscious, and it must outpicture. Instead, dwell in the feeling of I. Let your inner conversation reflect abundance. Say to yourself, I am well supplied. I live in abundance. All my needs are met. Do not wait for the evidence. Speak it, feel it, believe it, and the evidence will come. A friend once came to me, deeply troubled. His business was failing. He said, Neville, I cannot pay my men. The creditors call daily. What shall I do? I asked, can you feel yourself successful? Can you imagine your business flourishing, your accounts full, your men paid? He said, it seems impossible. I told him, forget the facts, live in the end. Each night as you drift to sleep, imagine the scene that implies your success. Hear your men thank you. Feel the satisfaction of paying them. Rest in that assumption. He obeyed. In weeks, contracts he had long pursued suddenly came through. Money flowed. The business revived. He said, it was as if the whole world shifted, and indeed it had, for when he shifted states, the outer world conformed. So I tell you tonight, wealth is not created by toil, though toil may accompany it. Wealth is created by state, and the state you occupy is determined by what you accept as true. Do you accept lack? You will see lack. Do you accept wealth? You will see wealth. And wealth is not selfish. To live in the state of wealth is to bless others. A poor man cannot give freely. A wealthy state blesses because it overflows. So do not fear that assuming wealth is greed. It is not greed. Greed grasps. True wealth gives. Now let us be practical. Suppose you wish to enter the state of wealth. Tonight before sleep, imagine one simple act that implies you are wealthy. It may be checking your account and seeing abundance. It may be handing a gift without concern. It may be walking through life with ease and dignity. Choose the act. Perform it inwardly. Feel its reality. Sleep in that state. Do this consistently, and the state will harden into fact. You need not know the means. Means will appear. Opportunities will come. Help will arrive. But it begins within. Do not be concerned with how. The how is not your business. Your business is the state. Assume it. Persist in it. And the outer must conform. And let me say, you are not pretending. When you assume wealth, you are claiming the truth of your being. Poverty is the lie. Abundance is the truth. You are the image of God. And God is infinite. To assume lack is to deny Him. To assume wealth is to honor Him. When you walk in the state of wealth, you discover something marvelous. It is not only money that changes. Health improves. Relationships flourish. Doors open. Life expands. For wealth is a consciousness of fullness, and fullness touches every part of life. So tonight I urge you, stop asking, when will money come? Instead ask, am I being wealthy now in consciousness? And if the answer is no, then change it this very moment. You can, for states are chosen. Close your eyes, imagine, feel, enter the state of wealth, and when you rise, carry it with you. Walk in the dignity of wealth, speak from the assurance of wealth, act in the generosity of wealth, and soon, the outer world will echo back what you have assumed. For wealth is not to come. It is already here waiting to be claimed. The moment you claim it, it is yours. So I leave you with this truth. Wealth is a state of being. Enter it, live in it, persist in it, and the world will mirror it in ways you could never devise. Wealth is not out there. Wealth is within you now. Dare to assume it, and you will see it made manifest. Then, the final declaration. I am a multimillionaire. Tonight we arrive at the pinnacle of understanding. We have spoken of assumption, imagination, living in the end, persistence, and the state of wealth. All these steps tend to a single truth. You are now ready to declare with absolute certainty, I am a multimillionaire. Listen carefully, for this is no idle statement. It is not a wish, nor a hope, nor a desire. It is the fact of your being, already established in the unseen. The world has taught you to wait for evidence before speaking. I say to you, reverse that order. Speak first, feel first. The world will obey your inner declaration. When you say, I am a multimillionaire, do not utter it lightly. Do not let it escape your lips as a mere word. Infuse it with feeling. Breathe life into it. Imagine the fullness of that reality, the freedom, the joy, the peace, the opportunities, the service you can give, the experiences you can have. Feel it as though you are already living it. That is the power of declaration. Many ask, Neville, what if I do not see it yet? I reply, do not look at what is seen. Your senses are always delayed. They report yesterday. They cannot inform tomorrow. You are not speaking to yesterday or today. You are speaking to the creative principle within. That principle knows only your assumption. That principle hears only your declaration. That principle responds only to your feeling. So tonight, speak boldly. I am a multimillionaire. Imagine your accounts overflowing. Imagine the letters of confirmation. Imagine the congratulations from friends. The ease of paying all obligations. The joy of giving freely. Imagine the trips, the comforts, the security, and the influence you now possess. Feel it real. Let your body, mind, and soul accept this truth. Do not say, I will be. That is delay. Do not say, I hope to be. That is doubt. Say, I am. The statement of being is the law of creation. When you declare it in feeling, the unseen receives it as accomplished. Consider this. You are now the consciousness of a multimillionaire. That is not future. That is present. The outer world may not yet reflect it fully, but it must, for what you assume is real cannot be denied by the universe. Every action, every event, every encounter, every opportunity will now be guided by this inner state. You are the master. The world bends to your assumption. I want you to see clearly. To declare I am a multimillionaire is not merely about money. It is about consciousness. It is about entering a state in which lack is impossible. Limitation is impossible. Worry is impossible. To inhabit that state is to free yourself entirely. All doors open, all paths become visible. All power is at your command. Now let us test this principle. Imagine a man in debt. He says, I cannot pay. I am trapped. But if he were to assume the state of abundance, to imagine the letters of payment, the deposits arriving, the gratitude of those he serves, he is already free. His outer world must follow. For the outer is never cause. It is effect. The effect cannot resist the inner truth. So tonight I say, stop living by sight. Stop measuring by bank statements, by checks, by numbers on a screen. Live by consciousness. Live by feeling. Let your inner world declare, I am a multimillionaire. Persist in that feeling. Sleep in it. Walk in it. Speak from it. Let it saturate your being. The world cannot help but respond. Many of you have been afraid to claim it. You say, I am not worthy. I do not deserve it. I am not yet capable. I tell you, these are illusions of the senses. Your worth is infinite. Your capability is already complete. The moment you assume it, you awaken the power within. Worthiness is not something to achieve. It is something to recognize. Capabilities are not to be earned. They are to be realized. I want you to picture this now. You wake each day with complete freedom. You see your resources multiplying effortlessly. You give freely and abundantly. You invest, you expand, you create. You are a multimillionaire. Feel it. Live it. Let your imagination hold it until it is unquestionable. You may say, Neville, what about fear? What about doubt? Then I remind you, fear and doubt are the products of attention to the outer world. Ignore the shadows. Attend only to the inner reality. Persist in the feeling. The law is exact. The inner creates the outer. Fear is powerless when feeling is loyal. Doubt is silent when imagination is active. Now take a moment and imagine a single scene. Perhaps you sit at your desk, reviewing your wealth. Perhaps you sign an agreement that increases your abundance. Perhaps you feel the joy of giving freely to someone in need. Do not rush. Enter the scene fully. Hear it, see it, feel it, live it, sleep with it, awake with it. Persist. That is all. The world cannot resist such persistence. Let me remind you of a story. A man desired great wealth but began with nothing. He entered the state nightly, imagining letters of confirmation, imagining meetings of agreement, imagining the gratitude of those he served. He persisted for months, though nothing outwardly indicated change. Then opportunities appeared. Wealth arrived. Doors opened. People supported him, all because he had assumed it, all because he had declared, I am a multimillionaire.
in feeling before evidence existed. So now I invite you, make your declaration. Do not hesitate. Do not whisper it as a whole. Shout it in your mind. Carry it in your heart. Embrace it in your being. I am a multimillionaire. Repeat it nightly, repeat it daily, until it saturates every cell, every thought, every breath. Your body will accept it. Your mind will accept it. And the world will conform. Remember, the outer is always obedient to the inner. Persist in the feeling of wealth, and wealth will appear. Persist in the feeling of freedom, and freedom will manifest. Persist in the feeling of power, and power will rise. The law is exact. No exception. No delay beyond what your faith allows. And let me conclude with this. Your declaration is not merely a statement of money. It is a recognition of your divine power. It is the acknowledgement that you, as consciousness, create. It is the embrace of your infinite self. To declare, I am a multimillionaire, is to claim the fullness of life. It is to awaken to your true nature. It is to stand as the master of your world. So tonight, go forth, declare boldly, assume fully, persist tirelessly, sleep in the end, live in the end, feel it real, and know without question that the unseen must manifest. For you are not speaking to chance, you are speaking to law. You are not hoping for the future, you are claiming the present. You are not dreaming, you are creating. And so I say to you as I close this lecture, with authority and assurance, I am a multimillionaire. Let that statement resonate within. Let it saturate your imagination. Let it define your consciousness. Persist in it, and the world cannot resist. For the truth is eternal. You are wealth. You are abundance. You are power. You are freedom. You are a multimillionaire.